Developed by Blackbird Interactive and published by Focus Home Interactive, Hardspace Shipbreaker is a game like no other. You are a spaceship salvager floating around in space, and it's your job to cut up ships, pay off your debt, and not die in the process. Because dying is not profitable. The rich live among the stars, and Earth has become a backwater planet. Wishing to escape, you sign up to the Lynx Corporation to become a shipbreaker, a very dangerous job of slicing up ships for salvage. And this is something you will do a lot. Why? Because Lynx now own you, and you are in debt to them by 999,999,999 credits. Death is no escape, as they have your DNA and cloning technology, so, like it or not, you are now a shipbreaker until you clear your debt, whenever that may be. Welcome to the world of shipbreaking. Hardspace Shipbreaker is essentially a first-person puzzle game, set in 0G, where you are tasked with different work orders. Initially equipped with a laser cutter and what is essentially a gravity gun, you must work through your work order. As you progress, your work order list gets longer, the ships get bigger and more complicated. You must plan your approach to each or face a hull breach as you cut open a bulkhead after forgetting to depressurize the ship, or cut a fuel line that hasn't been shut off. The game consists of two modes. The first being the campaign, where you must earn different certifications before moving on to bigger, more lucrative ships. These certificates are earned by completing different tasks of either salvaging so many different parts, furniture, reactors, etc., and sometimes earning a certain amount of credits too. Upon doing so, you'll be able to move on to different ships and unlock upgrades and new toys to play around with. These upgrades include making your gravity gun stronger, longer reach, not having certain tools overheat as quickly, more oxygen, different scanning modes, etc., etc. As you float out into your yard, you have a certain amount of time to salvage before your shift is over.
Now that you've completed your training, you're only about 1 billion credits away from paying off your debts and Lynx.
After each shift, you see how much you've earned in salvage, but also how much Lynx have charged you. That's right. You have to cover your costs of insurance, damages, all the bills that Lynx want you to pay. You have to buy your own supply of oxygen too. Yep, this debt is going to take a long time to pay off. The other mode is free play, where you don't have to worry about time, money, you have unlimited everything. It's just you, the ship, your tools. This is a great way to practice on ships you've unlocked, looking for new ways to cut them up and experiment. The game can be played with mouse and keyboard or controller, but at the time of playing, there's only one controller layout and no key customization. I'm big on configuring my own keys, so it took me quite a while to not press the wrong keys all the time, which, to be fair, is something I'm still doing. Something as simple as this, in a game coming out in 2020, regardless of being early access or not, should be in on day one. I enjoy the game, but the frustration of not having the keys how I want them after years of muscle memory build-up made me enjoy the game a little less. With the controls currently set as they are, on both mouse and keyboard and controller, they felt good, if not a little awkward. On keyboard it's the usual WSAD, roll left and right with Q and E, but using your hands to grab onto walls, etc. are set to Z and X. That's not the odd part. The odd part is the controller. I naturally assumed that roll would be set to RB and LB shoulder buttons. How wrong I was. Rolling left and right is set to pushing the left and right sticks in. This to me felt very unnatural, and the shoulder buttons are in fact set to controlling the hands. Personally, I would swap these around. Other than the actual configuration, the controls feel good. Set in a zero-G environment, the controls feel floaty, as they should. This is no Twitch shooter after all. This is a game where you drift and float around, and it feels just like that. If you don't brake, you'll keep floating in the direction you set off in. However, saying that, speed did feel odd. Setting off at a certain speed, you can visually see at some point that you slow down, and then stay at this slower speed. This shouldn't happen, not in zero-G anyway. I'm not sure if this is a bug or a design feature, but it's something I picked up on. The graphics are okay, but nothing mind-blowing. Most of the models are quite low poly, and the textures are nice enough, but that's the style of the game, it's not going for ultra-realistic. Settings though are something of a disappointment. If you're hoping to customize your graphical options, well, you can't, unless you want to change texture quality, or texture quality. You can change the resolution, but honestly, when I did this, I didn't notice a difference at all. There's no FOV slider, which would have been nice as it feels very tight viewed. For the most part, frame rate is good, however it does feel like they still need to do a few optimization passes, but this is an early access game at the moment, so there's plenty of time. The main issue for me was the particle system. Getting closer to the furnace, for example, saw a drop of about 10 to 15 frames, and when inside the ship, this drops by a good 20 to 30, especially when depressurizing.
Your lung pressure levels dropping.
Other than the frame drops though, I haven't really experienced any issues. The odd section of the ship that once completely cut free wouldn't move, and one crash. That's it. So for an early access game, for me, that's pretty stable. Audio is something a lot of developers sometimes forget about, but thankfully in Shipbreaker, the audio works really well. Not just sound effects, but the music just fits. I never would have thought that Americana guitar folk music with synth and a space game would mix, but it does. And it works. Aside from the music, you have the muffled sounds of your thrusters, airlocks opening, pressurizing, depressurizing, explosions, and cutting through metal all have their own distinct sounds. And when something goes wrong, just wow. But do I see myself playing this game a lot? The short answer is yes. Hardspace Shipbreaker is a game you can easily pick up and play to kill a few hours. It's fun to work out new ways of cutting up ships, and in some ways it's quite relaxing. Is it a game I could lose days on end? No. After a while, things tend to get a little repetitive, which isn't to say it's a bad thing. Not all ships are the same, as there are different variations. I'd just like to see more ships and more variety in those ships. But as I've said before, this is currently an early access game, so here's hoping more ships get added. Bigger ones too. So, is this a good game and should you pick it up? I've had a lot of fun playing Hardspace Shipbreaker, and I can see myself playing it more and even streaming it. I think it's a great fun game to lose yourself in and relax. Whether you agree with me though, is up to you. The game is out now on Steam Early Access and will be coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One at a later date. I'm Game on Scorpio, and for more news, reviews and previews, head on over to the Thumb Culture website. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe so that you don't miss future videos, and leave us a comment below to tell us what you think of the game. And I'll see you all in the next one.